All right, along your life's journey, one of the key factors that I have found that has given me some peace of mind is avoiding debt. Debt. Sometimes you cannot avoid all debt, but avoid as much as you can. Now, the biggest form of debt that people get themselves into is credit cards. And I don't have statistics. You can get statistics other places, but I want to say that the average American has about $10,000 in credit card debt, and that's scary. I can't imagine. The problem, especially with credit card debt, is the interest that you pay. When you're paying 14 to 20 some odd % interest on your balance, that is staggering. And man, I don't know. I just would encourage you to get them paid off, because that amount of money just keeps building and building. You make the minimum payment, but they're adding more to that every month or whatever the time is, and it doesn't go away. And just because you make that minimum payment doesn't mean that you're good, because like I said, it keeps building. And when you go to get, say, a loan for a car, even a moderately priced car, that credit card debt is going to haunt you, because they're going to look at that and they're going to say, you got too much debt, I can't give you this loan. Or say for your first house or whatnot, all that matters. So debt can, and again, this is kind of a debatable subject, but debt can work in your favor in that it can build credit. And so when you do need to take out a loan, say for a house or a car, you're going to be able to do it. You're going to have some credit there. Case in point, I tried to stay away from credit cards. That was the conventional wisdom at the time in my early 20s, and so I did. And I paid cash for everything. When I paid my utilities at a small studio apartment. When I paid my utilities, I went to the little Hallmark store in town and paid my utilities. I think it was a Hallmark, and then I paid my. I did have checks, so I probably wrote my landlord a check. But yeah, so it was either cash or checks. That's when checks were still a thing, no longer anymore, but at least rarely. And where it hit me, I'd gotten to college, and then after college, started looking for a job. Got a job, and I had a vehicle, but it wasn't running that well. I needed a car, but I didn't have a whole lot of money saved up, so I couldn't pay cash for even a used car. And I wanted a decent used car because I was tired of cars breaking down on me, right? So found a car, and I thought, okay, this would be good. So I applied for a loan, and this was through the dealership even, and I was denied the loan. So I talked to the lady that called me, and I said, what gives? And I said, She said, well, you don't have any credit. And I said, well, how am I at risk? I said, I don't have any debts, and I have this income. And she said, well, it's not that we're not saying that you have bad credit. We're just saying that you don't have credit. And I said, well, how am I supposed to get credit? I'm going to buy a car. Can I get credit that way? And she said, well, no. She said, what you got to do is, maybe you can get one of those credit starter credit cards and this thing and that. So I did. I got that going. And like I said, I just tried to make sure I paid it off. I did buy some furniture with it and all that, but I got that paid off pretty quick. Listen, so it can be helpful, because with that, then I was able to establish a little bit of credit and get me a decent car. So again, not brand new. I eventually did buy a new car, which, I haven't bought a new one since then. It was kind of bad. But anyway, all that to say, I've stayed out of debt. And even after getting married, my wife and I having 2 kids, we stayed out of debt. We bought one house, is a manufactured home on a city lot in one place. Really paid too much money for that one, but it's in California, so what do you expect? And then I got laid off, and we basically had to foreclose on that place. And that's a whole nother story in itself, something I never thought I would ever do, but that was, it was bought during that big housing debacle back in 2008, 2009. So from there on, it was just we lived in a parsonage, a church-owned home, and we just started saving our money. And after my wife was she was in the workforce before the kids, and after the kids came, she got out of the workforce, stay-at-home mom, and so that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's possible, and so you can do it on one income. Anyway, so we just worked with what life was kind of throwing us at the time. So and then so we started saving our money, and that was bringing us up to this time, and we had enough for a down payment where we're living right now. It would be nothing for where we were living at the time, but so we ended up getting a nice place here where we're living, and both of us are working. She did go back to work after my son got his driver's license and could drive himself and my daughter to school. So my wife worked 2 or 3 years, and then because we had learned to live on just my income, we were able to take her income and start putting it away in savings, which helped us to, like I say, get to this point to where we could buy a house. And what was really cool is we bought it when interest rates were 3%, and we moved to a place with a lower cost of living, though hardly a lower standard of living. So we're glad about that, and no regrets. And so it's been good. So bottom line is, keep yourself out of debt as much as possible. I know sometimes you need a car to get to work, and sometimes you might have to get a loan for a car, but don't get a brand new car. And if you could put some savings toward the down payment of that car, just keep the monthly payment down, do it. Just get a car, find a car that's in good condition, that gets you from point A to point B. It may not impress your friends. That's okay, because your friends are not going to help you in retirement. Your friends are not going to help you to afford whatever lifestyle you got going here. All right. So love your friends, appreciate them. Friends are great. But to live to impress your friends and to spend your money in a way to impress your friends, live within your means. And if you get a car, obviously you got to get to work to afford your living. So avoid debt as much as you can. If you have to have it, use it to your advantage. Don't let you become a slave to the lender. All right. And like as far as credit cards and that kind of thing, get one that pays you back. So anyway, life is a journey. You have to have a journey mindset if you're going to be successful. So I hope I can encourage you to think, at least get your brain thinking along that journey mindset. Okay, so in the comments below, if you have ideas about debt, staying out of debt, how to stay out of debt, encouraging people along those lines, I would appreciate you chiming in, okay? All right. Well, enjoy the journey, because I am.